What was the connection, other than him, and maybe that was a big part of it, but what was the connection to bring you here?
Yes, I would say the biggest connection for one was Coach Cheney. Us, having that relationship from being together in 2023. But also, there's some other guys on staff that I've got a connection with, like Coach Pallage was one. Luke Johnson, one of our analysts, he was a guy that was with us at Western as well as a GA. So just some familiar faces in the building, and that was kind of the connection. And it was a thing that just kind of happened. It happened quick, and I'm thankful it did.
I mean, we hear all the time that Coach Aranda is a great defensive mind. What's it like to work kind of side by side with him in the linebacker room?
It's a really kind of surreal experience just because I'm a young coach, and coming up through my career I always heard about Coach Aranda and the things he does on defense and his defensive mind, and it's really cool to be able to sit there 2 chairs down from him in meetings and hear it firsthand. And there's a lot of ball being talked and knowledge being passed around, and I can definitely say in the last 3 months I've really become a better football coach just by being around him.
Does it ever sound like Chinese? Like, do you ever not understand what he's saying?
No, not really, because he's got a good way of like relaying information that it makes sense to everybody and explaining things, and he's very clear, very thorough, and very detailed in terms of scheme and teaching and football, and it makes it really easy to learn and adjust and get things done.
Might have been the right time for a new coach coming in because it's kind of a rebuilt room. What do you see from those guys? I mean, obviously got a couple of big transfers, but Kyler coming back, Corey coming back, that kind of thing.
So I would say the biggest thing, all those guys, man, they compete. They come to work every single day. They show up ready to work, ready to go and get better, and they've all really got a growth mindset. They're focused on getting better every single day, which is key, right? And it's cool, the dynamic of the room, just because you do have a good mix of new guys and guys that have been here. And so for me, honestly, coming in as the new guy, to have some new guy or some guys in the room that have been here, like to have them to kind of learn how things go a little bit, and then have some new guys in the room as well that we're adjusting as well at the same time. And it's been kind of a cool experience of like we're all growing together a little bit, and it's been a really cool dynamic, cool experience.
I mean, Emar'rion, he just looks like a different player. I guess how good can he be? What is his ceiling, and how does he fit into what you want as a player?
I tell him every day his ceiling's the roof. Talking about that quote, that his ceiling is the roof. He can bust through it. And that's how every single guy in the room is, in my opinion. They're all guys that have incredible potential. Like they can climb as high as they want to go as long as they go do it. And Emar'rion's definitely one of those guys that like he's got a capability to be a guy, and it's his work every day is a true testament to that. He comes to work every single day to get better, and when he's making plays, it's because he's doing work to get better. It's been really awesome to have him in the room as well, because like he was saying, like me and him kind of speak the same language. We're from similar backgrounds football-wise, and so it's been really nice to grow with him as well, with him in the room.
It seemed like last year they had a lot of formations and different sets where they would have two of those guys out there. Do you see that? Do you see that being a thing this year as well, getting those guys on the field? Because it seems like you've got some athletes that can do a lot of things out there.
Yeah, I definitely do think that that's something that we can build into. When you've got talented guys in the room, you want to get talented guys on the field. And it's at the end of the day, get guys on the field that can make plays, and we've got enough guys in the room that can go do that. So I do think that that's something there's room for, and it's it's what it is.
You were talking about having guys here that have been here, Kyler being probably at the top of that list. Does that help you as a new coach coming in, that you've got a guy that knows it that well?
Oh, it's always good when you have a guy in the room as a new coach that has been here, that has played well. Like to have that in the room as a vet presence coming in day one and really being able to set standards through guys like him, like that helps the room elevate as well. So it's been awesome having him in the room. He's another guy that he comes to work every single day to get better. And he's really shown it through spring ball as, getting better. Everybody has.
Obviously you're new. We've talked a lot about the transfers. What's the learning curve been like? Do you think there's going to be like a feeling out period once the season actually gets going, or how quickly do you expect to all come together is my question.
I think that the way we do things around here, it helps guys get adjusted pretty quickly, and learn pretty quickly. And again, like I said about Coach Aranda, he's got a way of describing things and explaining things that like everybody's on the same page. And so, like, by him doing that with us as coaches and with the players, we're all able to speak the same language. And if we're all speaking the same language that a coach is talking, like, everybody's going to be on the same page, and it happens much quicker, you know. So that's been the good thing. As much ball as it is around here, like, it is very easy, I feel like, for guys to learn and adjust and get better and be able to play faster. So that's been the easiest piece for me.
Had you seen all this before you came in, or what were your thoughts about just the facility and even McLean Stadium?
I mean, these facilities are world class. You know, this university as a whole is world class. I mean, this is one of the nicest facilities I've ever been in. I mean, I came here to Baylor, to Waco, sight unseen. It was a deal that I interviewed over Zoom.
Yeah.
Everything was Zoom and phone calls. And my first time here was when I was coming here to go to work. So, but it is world class. This is one of the nicest facilities I've been in. That was my first time in McLean Stadium just now for the scrimmage. So it's very, very world class facilities. So.
As someone who didn't experience the end of last season and kind of the surge that Baylor went on to end the year, do you feel pressure? Like, do you feel an expectation has been raised, or there's pressure to kind of live up to how Baylor finished last year?
I wouldn't really say pressure per se. I would say more momentum. You know, you can definitely feel the momentum walking around the building, but we all definitely understand that, like, this is a new year, so we have to prove it again, right? You have to prove it again. And I'll go back to, you know, something I've been hearing since I was in college: pressure is a privilege, right? So if you are in a situation where you are under pressure to perform and to excel, it is because you've done good things in the past, right? And so for us to be under pressure per se to perform and, you know, excel, that's a privilege based on the season that they had last year. So just trying to build off of that.
One of the guys said he watched every film. How much film did you watch, and did you come in with a clean slate, or were you evaluating based on the film from last year?
So I followed Baylor throughout the year last year, just because of the guys that I knew that were here, and I was always rooting for them to be successful, just because that's what you do as a coach. You know, you've got friends that are on staff, so you pull for them to be successful. But when I got here, you know, first thing I did was, you know, I went through and I watched everybody that was in the room, their film from last year. I watched actually the guys that were leaving out of here just to kind of see how they played and what style of play it was. And then you go through and you watch the film of what you're doing on defense and all that type of stuff. So, you know, I've probably seen every clip at least 5 times now of last season. So I've definitely burned a hole in the tape.
I guess, you know, tell me about the outside linebackers. Like, you're returning. You
Yes,
played
sir.
a little bit last year.
Yes, sir.
I guess, how do you feel kind of with this group going into the season?
I love this group. I would say we got 4 or 5 guys that can all go, and just I feel like keeping everybody fresh and everybody getting in, we're gonna be like deadly. Just keeping new guys rotating in and out. I feel good about the group.
Did it help you last year? I mean, not getting to play a lot, but at least getting in there, getting some game experience, and you know, with Coach Aranda kind of taking more hands-on. Did that help you last year?
Oh yes, sir. Of course. You know, we had Garmin and Steve last year. Those guys are great. It was amazing to like sit behind them, learn what I can, and just get my snaps, take it one play at a time, and just learn from them. Help my game this year. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we saw them up at Pro Day. How much did they push you? How much did you talked about kind of learning under them. How much did they push you? How much did they help you kind of grow?
Me and Steve, we were real close. Like every day after practice, we'll get some work in. You know, pass rush drills, go get on the sleds. And Garmin, he was here my freshman year. He was real helpful. Just both of them being great pass rushers, they helped me a lot.
Lots of new in this room,
Mm-hmm.
new coach, new players. I guess, how quickly have y'all come together? What's the learning curve been like for the group?
I'll give my props to Coach Hall. He's a great coach. He pushes us all. He teaches very well. Just the guys, I'll say we all mesh together real well. It's been no hiccups about anything really. We all like just bonded real quick, and it's been great.
What's different about Coach Hall?
Coach Hall, I say he's more hands-on. You know, he'll be Indy with us. He'll be the tackle while we pass rush. He's a good hands-on coach.
Just kind of what does it look like this spring, and how have you kind of jumped in there and fit in real well?
It's just, you know, adjusting to a new atmosphere, new place, you know, new expectations. You know, definitely give credit to the guys in that room. You know, they welcomed me in with open arms and just made this process a lot smoother for me.
What has that learning curve been like? I mean, how quickly have you been able to pick up kind of what you want to do?
It's pretty quick. I mean, the play calls, you know, I was going through it before I got here, And to be honest, it's not really that hard, especially with a coach like Coach Hall being hands-on, teaching us, the fundamentals and how to do the technique. It's just helped me progress my game further.
What were you looking for when you came to Baylor?
Definitely a genuine place, with genuine people who are, going to push you in the right direction, to further your career and your development.
I don't ask this only because they're walking by right now, but going against an experienced offensive line, what's that been like? Obviously, they bring back a lot of experience.
Oh, definitely. They give me a couple times, get me on the ground a couple times, but that's just doing nothing but get me better to go against this Big 12 O-line that I'm going to go against this season.
What's your strengths? What do you bring to the defense?
Definitely, tenacity. I'm a hard player. I'm gonna try to do the extra effort, try to get across the hash to go punch a ball out whenever a guy breaks free, and just breaking pass rush as well.
A guy like Emar'rion, what does he bring to the room? How have you two clicked together?
Oh, he's a veteran player. He's coming from a place like Oregon. He's well polished, and just watch him every day. It just gives me new tools and new techniques that I can use in my game.
Is he far enough away where you can talk about Coach Hall? What do you see from him? What is he like in practice and stuff?
Yeah, definitely what my counterpart said. He's definitely hands-on. He's more of an involved coach, I would say myself, especially with me. He comes in, gets in the stance as well, shows me which way to step, how to step 45-degree angle of departure, and he's just making me a better player overall.
Obviously, Coach Aranda's involved a lot more than most head coaches with the defense and specifically with the linebackers. What's that like, having him right in the mix?
He's just a brilliant mind on the defensive side for sure. He's definitely more like, I'll say, technical with his defenses. He likes to call them up, you know what I mean? And I'm enjoying my time with this program.
What's it been like for you, jumping right in and, into the mix in this defense and specifically at your position?
It's been a great transition. Defensive head coach, so it's easy to come here and understand the defense because I'm talking to not only my position coach, but then that head coach that watches every rep. So it's been good to be able to learn this stuff, learn it quick. Whatever mistakes I make, I get to see them quick on the field before we even get to film and meetings. So I think that has definitely made the transition easier. We had a new coach come in, with the new guys as well, Coach Hall. And me and him come from a similar tree of coaches, him having history with Lanning, me coming from Lanning. So the way he teaches defense and talks football is the exact same as me. So it's perfect. It makes it easier to comprehend too.
Did you have any relationships with any other coaches? I'm thinking maybe Coach Powledge, who was at Oregon. Did you know any other coaches before you came here?
I knew Coach Powell because he was at Oregon my freshman year. And in that late process of me getting recruited out of high school, I got a chance to meet Coach Powell. But I also knew Coach Chaney. My top two schools coming out of high school was Florida and Oregon. He was at Florida with Coach Napier. I think those were the only two that I had previously knew coming in.
How does this position fit you? I mean, is this kind of the edge rush? Is that kind of your thing? Is that what you're best at?
Yeah, I think my edge ability is my best ability in football. I know on my film I've shown versatility, shown the ability to do multiple things, but I feel like I'm most productive, and it is shown on my film that I'm most productive being an edge player, and they're bringing out my full potential as an edge setter, an edge rusher, everything to do with the edge. So them maximizing me here is making me even better at that.
What excites you about that group? Obviously, there's a lot of newness there, but what about the group excites you going into the year?
I think the competition aspect. It's hard to really get into a room that has new guys and everybody come in and everybody wants to contribute. Everybody wants to eat, get sacks, get TFLs and whatever. Walking into what we've been doing so far this spring, everybody in there is ready to play every day. And everybody wants to make the play, not a play, but when a name needs to be called, everybody is trying to rise to that level of a player to be able to allow that opportunity to come to them. So going through the season, it'll just be exciting to see how they compete in game and in practice every day and what we can all do as a unit to not just one or two people are doing really good, but all of us are filtering in and doing and contributing for the team.
Coming in here, how much did you research? Did you, look at film, or what kind of things stood out about you on what they were able to do last year?
I watched every game. And when I got an opportunity to see how they played third down, that was one thing that I was conversing with Coach Aranda about, and how they like to play first and second, and it being a hybrid defense, it being a 4 down or it being a 3 down sometimes, and things of that nature. I feel like after getting an opportunity to see that, I really liked it because, of course, Coach Aranda is an ILB guy, so we have really dialed up blitzes that we send as well. So like there's a very good variety here. And I feel like who Coach Aranda is, from how I've seen him as a coach in spring, he's a very versatile coach with what he can call and what he can create. So sometimes there's a play, there's an edge that's going to eat, but then there's other times he has the perfect ILB blitz where we may cross a face or clean them up and make it a cleaner look for him. So I feel like that after I watched the film before and then got into it, that's where I've really loved it.
Even though you're a little newer, do you still feel like you need to or can be a leader in that group or on the defense overall?
Yeah, of course. If needed, I'll be anything, they need me to be. If they need me to be that top dog leader, I'll be that. I'll step up to the plate. And if they need me to come in, do my job, and be the silent guy that is watching my film and showing up, I can do that. But it just all depends on what the team needs. I didn't come in attempting to enforce a role or be this or be that. I just kind of see where me as a puzzle piece fits into the puzzle of this team.
Does this fit now, having a bear on your chest and stuff? Have you gotten used to just being here and being a bear, that kind of thing?
Definitely. I think once you get here, once you talk to the coaches, talk to the players, sit in the locker room for a little too long on some days probably, you get an opportunity to just be around, and it just feels normal and it feels right. And also, I had a couple schools that I could have went to when I came here, so I'm biased for sure.
Right.
But when you get here, it is great. Of like, the guys are great people, the coaches are building great men and great players. So it's like there's no reason for it to not feel comfortable. Nobody's pushing you away or not talking to you. Everybody's like, oh, hey, what's good? So I feel like that definitely made it easier.